Well, first we want to thank you for your time. We really appreciate this. We look forward to learning more about you and your business. And did you always want to be a designer?
No, I wanted to be a veterinarian, and then when I was going to U, yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
And then I wanted to be in some natural science. I really wanted to go into biology, and I didn't know what I would do there. I didn't realize that you didn't have to know what you were doing to get a degree. It was actually my little sister who said, I'm going to go to it was Utah Technical College at that time, it's now community college. I'm going to go there and study commercial art. And I said, you know, and she hung up, and then I called her back the next day and said, I'll join you, what the heck? And so that's how I got into that.
Nice, cool.
A long thought out process over 24 hours.
So most artists are very unorganized in their workspace. I was really impressed with, he was very articulated, came across extremely professional, and his office space was really neat and tidy, but his house wasn't necessarily so much. So it was like interesting to see that his workspace was really tidy, but his house was, it was almost like his energy was shifted in the compartment of how he organized things. It was interesting to me. I think that was my favorite part.
When we first walked into his office, I thought, does this guy really work? Or
Yeah.
did he just set this up for us?
Yeah. This is so cool.
Favorite part of interviewing Jim was seeing his energy. That he had been doing this for so long, and like you had said, had his ups and downs, had such a positive outlook on this whole thing.
Big clients come and go, not usually to the degree that recently happened. But I've had other big clients, and you know, they get bought out by somebody, or the marketing director comes on that's got somebody they already like to work with, and say goodbye. That's it. You just freak out for a little while, and then somebody else comes along. And after you do it for long enough, you learn not to freak out. It's like, oh, it's slow. I think I'll enjoy that. Because later I'm going to be working my butt off and work 7-day weeks, and I won't enjoy that so much.
In fact, he works for himself and is so happy in what he does. That was probably my favorite part.
The most rewarding, really, is working at home. It's just perfect. When it's slow, I just take a phone and work around the house. When it's busy, I'm right next to the fridge. And I'm here with my kids. When I've been doing this for about 2 or 3 years, I had a meeting with a guy I used to work with, and he really wanted to bring me on as a partner in his ad agency, and it was a really good pitch. And I said, you know, this is a good match. And then I came home, and my very little girl said, Daddy, you're home, I missed you so much. And I went, oh, well, okay, well, there's that decision.
Whenever I envision working for myself, I envision, more having to be constantly busy. And he didn't seem like he was constantly busy. He seemed very laid back, and was able to provide for his family, and that was very reassuring.
What I always appreciated about him and continue to appreciate in this experience was his forthcoming attitude. That he was willing to answer questions that benefited me, that I believe benefited our team in helping us to get a more clear picture of the world that we're moving into with the degree of design. And he was very willing to share even the very personal aspects of his world, because he is an entrepreneur. He has been in business since 1990 for himself, so he has a lot of experience in that.
Because you are in a shop, as you explained it, which is perfect, have you experienced any fear, or have you experienced like, okay, maybe I will go get a job? Has any of that ran through your head?
Yeah. Experienced fear, like I pay a bunch of bills one month and I go, oh my God, because I have a pretty good bank balance, and it's it diminishes, and then, a couple months ago I thought, this is it. I'm down to $1,000, and then a bunch of people paid me. Like, oh, great, I forgot about that. Like it all came in at once, and some of them were months old. And so there are the fearful bits, but mostly it's fluctuating like this instead of.
Are you willing to share what happened last year with your business that brought you to where you are now?
Yeah, and it's been actually over a couple of years, but I had a wife that was dying of cancer, so I couldn't really do a lot, and that absorbed all my time. Not all my emotional energy, more emotional energy than I had. And I lost this college account, the Salt Lake Tool Applied Technology College. Once they started to do well, the community college said, we want that. And so they kind of stole it away from the Utah College of Applied Technology, which runs all these different campuses. And so, bye, I love you guys. And then Broadway across America, people who, like I said, I worked with for 20 years. They've undergone numerous mergers with different companies, and they got big, and they were owned by Clear Channel at the apex, and they bought themselves back, and then they re-merged with the company they had merged with 5 years ago, and their new partner said, I need an in-house art partner. They're like, really? And they kept me on as long as they could, and they got me through the busiest season where I stockpiled a lot of nuts for the winter. And I said, yeah. And the spring they got busy again, and they had me do a lot of their overflow work. And it's kind of bittersweet because all the people I worked with said, why are we working with you all the time, Jim? You're so much faster. You read our minds. And but anyhow, those were the two big blows, and this was on top of a whole bunch of medical bills. Crawled out from there. So.
Thank you.
You'll dub in violin.
I will.
A
really
wonderful gypsy violin.
Bittersweet. Yeah.
Gypsy.
I've met with people before that are so guarded and don't want to give you, quote unquote, their secrets. Mm-hmm. But anything we asked him, I was really surprised that he was able to, or he answered all of them. Mm-hmm. And was, very upfront with us. Mm-hmm. Told us how it is.
I was comfortable asking him the questions that I really wanted to know. And I was grateful that you two got to be there to benefit from that as well, because I was comfortable enough to ask him, how do you work the personal finances in a field where you are an entrepreneur and there's no regular paycheck coming? And I was comfortable saying, tell me about the downs of this business and how have you survived the downs, knowing that he would be able to share with us and he'd be willing to share with us and provide some really deep insight for what it means to be a designer out in the field on your own.
But for everybody that does it successfully, you have to have a good work ethic. You have to not live paycheck to paycheck because you don't have paychecks. You have to be good with money.
You just mentioned a really good point. For a freelancer, you don't have a paycheck. So it's impossible to live paycheck to paycheck because there's not a regular time interval. So how, if you feel like this is too personal, you can let me know. How do you set it up as an entrepreneur, as a freelancer, in your personal finance that you can flow with that, the ebb and flow of money that's coming in? How did you do that for yourself?
I'm by nature a frugal person to start with. So when I have a lot of money in the bank, and I pay for my retirement and all that stuff, then maybe I'll take a nice vacation or buy something expensive that I need. I pay cash for cars, don't buy new cars. It's just, I tend to hold on to money to start with anyhow, and then I spend it when I have excess. And really that new car thing is a good thing for freelancers. Not having another payment to make. saving up when you've got it, it's good advice for anybody because you're not paying 50% of the car's cost and interest on it. But for a freelancer, it's really good when you can't count on the paychecks. Like, okay, I'm making money now, I'll save this money. Okay, now I'll buy that van that I needed. And if things get slow, that's okay. I don't have a $200 a month car payment.
What was most beneficial for me was going back to the first part of that, my favorite part, and gaining confidence from him that here's a guy that has made it for himself and his family, and being unemployed since December, but still being able to provide for my family through that time, through freelance work and through picking up clients, seeing that, okay, I've been able to do that for 6-7 months, and he's done that for over 20 years. It gave me confidence to be able to do that for myself.
I really appreciated how he was so excited about it still. After 20 years, still so excited to be a designer, to be an artist, and to be branching into cartooning, which he's so passionate about, and expressing himself that way, and to be able to go into his office and see the work that he's working on now, the Laughing Trout, and how he talks about that being the author coming to him with ideas on what he wants on the cover, and he's like, nope. Starting over from scratch, and the whole process of following that from sketches to inks to the actual digital process of the book cover, being able to witness that and to listen to him still be so excited about it, like a little boy, giddy excitement about it, and that for me was very encouraging, because the longevity, that's just what I keep coming back to, the longevity that he has under his belt as a designer on his own. Really, really beneficial for me to witness.
He kind of fit the part, meaning you can tell that he's artistic and creative and
He looked
lives
about how I thought he would look.
outside the lines. Yeah, he doesn't conform to the ideals of what America does.
So what sets you apart from other designers?
My looks.
Yes.
What sets me apart? When I started doing this, when I would meet new clients, I would wear a tie. And I would gradually get more casual. And then I'd send them emails that would be formal, and then I'd get more casual and funny. And as you know, Angie, I'm kind of a humorous guy. And I thought, the clients for whom that is important aren't good clients for me. I mean, and it's a two-way street. And so I'm a lot more casual. And that's part of my niche, is the casualness, and I just start off by blasting them with humor at the beginning. And I figure people are buying design, yes, but it's also about a relationship.
The website, his portfolio, was kind of simple. And I'd always envisioned the portfolio, because I've never done one, to be a little more elaborate, and to think that you can be successful and not need that elaborate, flashy portfolio. Yeah, I like that.
So our teachers speak a lot about doing thumbnail sketches and the importance of thumbnail sketches and doing it by hand. And do you find that still to be true?
Oh, yes.
Yes?
Yes. Yeah, all the time.
All the time.
And you don't have to be a good artist to do it. To do thumbnails. I mean, it's mostly, I want a picture here. It could be a stick figure even, or an oval if there's a head there, and just like some lines for type, scribbles for headlines. It's just to give you an idea of how things will flow.
For him to say, I use thumbnails all the time, and he's in the field and has been in the field for as long as he has, I was like, oh, so it's true. They're not lying.
for me, it felt like it was good instruction that he's been in the industry long, and even though he's had a roller coaster ride, he's been able to provide for his family and take care of everything. And loves his work at the same time. Everyone in life does this working thing, but I liked that he showed that he could make it through and still provide and still be happy, be really happy about. And to me, that's why I'm doing this. Like, I was providing for myself, doing what I was doing, but I wasn't happy doing what I was doing, and he loves what he does. So that was beneficial to me because it was a good example.
So I think it's somewhat easy to be successful.
What's your definition of successful?
It really doesn't involve wild amounts of money, unfortunately. But my definition of successful is I'm living a life that's better than 98% of the people on earth. I'm here with my sweetheart, and my kids, and I have a lot of flexibility in my life. Don't have to use an alarm clock. I hate alarm clocks. Yeah, and I just feel good. I don't feel like I'm wasting my time. I don't have to travel to go to work. I don't have to spend, 15% of my workday getting to work. That seems ridiculous. It's a life I like.
Mm-hmm.
I'm out of knowledge.
We've drained
You're
you
spent
dry.
for the day.